Shalom. Like I said, if you noticed, I move. I believe when the Spirit leads me to speak on what Abba wants me to say. But I always say it's all relevant because the spiritual and the natural go together. And I don't, like I told you, I worked basically all my life, and some would claim to differ, but that's not the truth if they would check. And then I was retired from my job, and they validated it and gave me a honorable retirement, despite of what anybody says. So, and then on top of that, going through, I've been led to seek truth. And my main agenda for my actions are in good faith to comply with what my Father said, Abba, the creator of all things. And he said, I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. And I always say, as I know better, I do better. So I reserve the right to always make corrections to, let's say this use the word resume in terms of putting in and plugging proper information where it belongs as I find out truth. So in saying that, look at the time. I try to come out of the de facto, and man, I'm not in the de facto, but I try to take away their position of saying I'm in the de facto when I'm not, because I'm a man, living soul in my right capacity. But that's why I came out of the 501c3 organizations when I was ignorant, so I no longer attend those things. A brother was teaching on chicken and turkey the other day, and it kind of touched my spirit. I said, okay, I'm gonna stop eating that then. So as I learn, I try to stop doing stuff as I know better and do the right things. And then see, the world is conditioned that you're supposed to pay mortgages, you're supposed to pay this, and you're supposed to do that, but you cannot pay for anything except gold or silver coin. That was what was written that they have to abide by. They have to abide by that because that's what the Constitution, their Constitution, when I say theirs, that's what they have to comply by. That's what they have to abide by it. And they can't just change it. Fiat currency was never meant to be money. And it can't be money because it can't be transferred into gold or silver coin. So, in saying that, I'm not trying to take nothing from anybody. If anybody can prove that I'm wrong, I'm going to give them what's theirs. Because I'm not trying to steal from nobody. But I'm going by what the laws and definitions of what laws mean, and certain words that mean a lot of different things. So I'm applying the correct terminology, correct terms that it was meant to be. And then, that's why I try to listen to everybody, because you can't listen to everybody. Yeah, sometimes you can't, but sometimes if you don't listen to everybody, you're going to miss out on some good stuff. Somebody might say 90% foolishness and 10% righteousness. If you don't listen to them, you're going to miss some good stuff. So I was listening to one of the Morris brothers talking. And he brought to my attention an order from the God over the corporate United States, the District of Columbia. Their father, they call him the Pope. And this is called civil orders. So basically, as I read this goes along with come out of her, my people. So he's basically confirming what Abba said. So listen. And I'm not out of order in reading this because this is not secret. This is something he put out. And I'm not saying I'm following him, but if somebody comes to tell you that something's gonna blow up and you need to leave, I don't care who said it. You need to take heed. Civil orders, July 4th, 2014, issued to all members of the domestic is inside the District of Columbia, United States. Issued to all members of the domestic police forces, U.S. Marshal Service, the Provost Marshals, members of the American Bar Association, and American Armed Forces. These organic American states of the Union, known as the United States of America Major, exercising plenary civil power upon the land, hereby appoint General Carter F. Ham to lead and command the Grand Army of the Republic Guard and its successors under the guidance of the Joint Chief of Staff and with their full support. Should it become necessary to suppress commercial mercenary forces operating under the guise of being federal government agencies, including but not limited to, see, these federal agencies don't exist. So he's their God. So he's putting the law down on them, saying they're de facto. So when Abba said, "Come out of her, my people, let you suffer her sins," he's already made a decree that he's going to judge these things because he's their God. So if you found in these things with them, you're going with them. So that's why I try to make every opportunity that I can. I let you know I'm not in it, and they can't hold me in it. Anything they do that's fraudulent, that's null and void, because you can't make somebody do something out of coercion, deceit. The Grand Army of the Republic Guard and its successors under the guidance of the Joint Chief of Staff and with their full support, should it become necessary to suppress commercial mercenary forces operating under the guise of being federal government agencies, including but not limited to the Department of Homeland Security, the Federal Emergency Management Administration, the Internal Revenue Service, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, etc., General Ham shall assume immediate command and control of all armed forces and services owed to the United States of America Major, stationed in North America, and shall join them under the command as Grand Army of the Republic. All forces of air, land, and sea are to be employed. Any cost or loss suffered as a result of deployment of the Grand Army of the Republic shall be charged as stipulated prior. All effort shall be made by the Grand Army of the Republic to spare life and property while undertaking any action whatsoever within the states of the Union, without exception. The Guard is uniquely established by these orders to operate on the land of the 50 organic states for the purpose of securing the lives and property of the American states and American state citizens. The Guard is not a foreign army. So it's not a de facto army. This is the actual real de jure America. And it's composed primarily of American state citizens. If required to take field position, the local commanders shall make every effort to communicate the basis of their authority and the reasons for their presence on the American state soil to ensure a prompt cessation of hostilities and widespread understanding of the usurpations and acts of fraud which have led to any conflict. All parties must be brought to understand the nature of the federal government, the limitations of its authority, and their own obligation to act in favor of the organic states. See, they're supposed to act in our favor, organic states of the Union, but they've actually tried to take over and say that they the kings and queens of the land, the queen of the land, king of the land. That's not true though. They only have a jurisdiction, I believe, 68 point something mile radius. That's not even a state. That's not even a government, because the people are the government. The Grand Army of the Republic shall continue to operate under General Order 100% known as the Liber Code, extinct from the pen of the last Republic President Abraham Lincoln. No orders, executives, or otherwise issued by Barack H. Obama retaining authority on the land of the American state while operating as President of America Minor. See, America Minor is the fraudulent de facto state, America, bankrupt since 1933, are owned and performance by the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Ham, or any ordinary. All plainly stated grants of contractual authority evident in the Constitution for the United States of America remain in place. See, the original Constitution is still in place. That's why I said nothing but gold or silver coins should be made for payment. We're supposed to discharge. They're supposed to discharge it, but since they file bankruptcy, the power is in each individual. That's why they have you to sign for something and say, and then you the one that basically financed the whole thing, and then they defraud you again by putting you in a dead pledge mortgage. That Vatum Maxim, I believe I got the correct term I use. Vatum, something. I've written it down before though. And then basically what it's stating is that the fiat that you give them don't go towards nothing except in their pocket. It don't even go towards a payment because you can't pay for anything with gold and silver. That contract is null and void. The Constitution for the United States of America remained in place, subject to good faith performance of the occupying obligations and treaties. Mr. Obama is the president of a governmental service corporation under contract to provide stipulated services to the organic states and is on their payroll. He otherwise acts as a foreign dignitary representing the United States of America minor. In neither of these capacities is he allowed any granted authority to impose upon American state citizens, endanger American state property, or command mercenary forces on American state soil, however viewed as federal civilian service agencies. We require the Joint Chief of Staff and General Ham to commence measurements to disarm federal civilian agency personnel and to seize control of the vast stockpiles of arms which have been improperly amassed by the Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, and other agencies employed by the United States Corporation. The only federal agency allowed free egress on the land of American states is the U.S. Marshal Service, and then only when their personnel are engaged in their duty to protect the U.S. mail and sworn to act as constitutional officers. So the U.S. Marshals only has authority over the mail. So all these other people are not, like the other video I made, everybody else is acting. Nobody had no authority to do nothing on this land except us, the people. And as long as we're not injuring nobody and, you know, as far as hurting your fellow man and doing things like that, we free. All other federal agency personnel are limited to unarmed service until further notice. Part 2, move on to part 2.